Welcome back. Welcome into another episode of Re-Draft Rehab Pod. I am back with my main guys, B and Therm Nation. How's it going, fellas? We at what is this week 10 coming up? We're far along in the season, boys. How we feeling? How we feeling? I'm
That's right.
surprised you guys are up fresh off that snooze fest that was Philly versus Green Bay, but no, I'm kidding.
You call it snooze, I call it good defense.
Oh, not from both teams. That was just
Call it a
ineptitude.
W.
Yeah, there you
Call
go,
it a
B.
W.
We would call it what it is, a win, right? Philly
Ready
strikes
win.
again.
Happens.
Hey man, when the chips is down, the team that wants to win will win. And Philly's been proving that out all year. So respect to them. Um, we're in here. We're going to talk about different topics today. For the most part, this is going to be a coaching episode, right? Because we just heard news that Brian Daboll is now out as the New York Giants head coach. We've already had one firing in Tennessee's head coach. We think there'll be plenty more, but today we're kind of going to spin around the horn and just think about what coaches are on the hot seat, who may be a potential replacement for Brian Daboll, and then just which teams are we just turning off or turning on, right? Who's the teams that we like to watch on our NFL version of Sunday Ticket, right? So without further ado, Giants just got rid of Brian Daboll. I'll swing it to Therm for your thoughts first on just the Brian Daboll era of the New York Football Giants. And then Brady, we'll swing it to you after that for potential replacements. Who would you like to see in Big Blue? But first, Therm,
Dang. Hold on. So I can only talk about
we can
you
talk
know what
about
I'm saying?
replacements. I'm
Yeah.
sure you was going to shoehorn that in, but I just wanted to.
You know he is.
I know you want to get off your Danny Dimes, Brian Dable takes, so I'm gonna just let you rock, brother.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you
Okay.
rock.
All right. So for the Giants, I mean, you had to let Dave go. I mean, I know there are some people, Shady and Acho, saying like Dayball wasn't the problem and yada yada yada. He might not have been the main problem, sure, but he was a problem. Like, let's be real here. His first season, right? They went 9-7. Since then, I think he's won a grand total of 10 or less games. Like
Yeah, it's pretty
that's
bad.
that's not that's inexcusable. Like I get it. You can say whatever you want about Danny and the rest of it doesn't matter. You are the head coach. You were hired for a reason. And in their
Mhm.
case, you were specifically hired to make their quarterback better. And you barely won games. Now, yes, you can throw out the stuff. The offensive line wasn't that good. The weapons weren't that good, etc., etc. But again, I mean, if you're supposed to be the head coach,
Mhm.
there are things that shouldn't happen. They get penalties all the time. They turn the ball over and that was the biggest thing. Danny Jones and his turnovers for the Giants. That was the biggest thing. You are supposed to be you got this job because everyone said, "Hey, you're the one who made Josh Allen to what he is now." That's what everyone said. You were supposed to go to New York and bring that with you. And then, well, go to New York. You didn't leave New York, but you get what I'm saying. You're supposed to go to the Giants and bring
We don't
that with
consider
you.
Buffalo, New York. That's fine.
And yeah, yeah, right. And you bring that with you. And then this is what you had the one season, which this is how bad Danny Jones was. Everybody, I'm talking about the entire media landscape, said, wow, Danny Jones had a heck of a season. He threw like 16 touchdowns versus like 7 picks. And that was considered a great year for him. Because no, I'm sorry, that was the year after. But previously he threw like 12 touchdowns and 20 picks. But then after that season, after
Improvement.
that playoff game, and after they got blown out by Philly, what did he do the next year? He started, I think, 8 games. 8 games and threw 6 touchdowns. What? You're an NFL quarterback. You started 8 games and you threw 6 passing touchdowns
I mean,
versus
not for
and versus
nothing.
he had like 13 interceptions.
not for nothing. We already know the Danny Dimes era will be the black mark on Daboll's career this
That's on
year.
Daboll. Like
Well,
you
I'm just
weren't
saying
that coach.
the black mark of that entire tenure is going to be what you couldn't get out of Daniel Jones, or maybe you got the best you could get out of Daniel Jones, and he was just a dud from the beginning. Who knows, right? I think he's mid. We've already established that. Won't even rehash that, but I think him trying this Jackson Dart, Jameis Winston, and Russ Wilson
Russ.
experiment, right? Like it showed how desperate he was, knowing his feet were on that fire when he's going to the medical tent to try to pull Jackson Dart out. When you see
Yeah, that was
the when
And
you
that's the
see the
emotional side. He's
entire
too emotional.
offensive on the sideline, that's like we're going to just like call a timeout and wait for Jackson Dart to get back in the game, right? Like you're not going to try to run plays with Russ, right? Like you're not going to do that. I mean, I just seeing the urgency that he had and the camaraderie he tried to like basically say like I'm in love with this kid. He's putting his stamp on it, and to so far, Jackson Dart has exceeded what his initial expectation was going to be. I think because he didn't come into this year. They traded up for him in the first round, but he didn't come into this year being like he's going to be the guy or some top prospect or anything like that. But he's shown enough
I mean, if you
flashes,
draft him in the first round,
and he was a trade up. But he was a trade up where you're in the 20s. It's not like I'm trading up to the top five
he's
pick
still a
for
first
you.
round pick.
But you
That's
still they
that's big.
by
They
spending
traded
they
back
still
into the first round pick because they're greedy. They
yeah.
traded back into the first round to grab him because they wanted their guy. But Jackson Dart coming out of Ole Miss wasn't some generation. We weren't talking about him in the top five with Cam Ward or even Shador at that point. Like he wasn't that. He
The
just wasn't.
media tried.
They attempted to because they saw that Shador was going to slide. So you got to fill airtime with somebody, right? Like it was Jackson Dart and Tyler Shuck. Like you don't want to talk about either of those guys. I personally think that Jackson Dart coming into the season couldn't even beat Jameis out for a spot, which is like that we're sitting the rookie thing. But I think he's exceeded what his expectations were going to be and proved that he could be
Yeah,
a NFL caliber quarterback if
I
he
agree.
cleans up a lot of the rookie stuff.
I agree with that. Like I do think they did unearth a guy, and yeah, I do think he needs time, and he throws behind his targets
Yeah.
pretty consistently. But that is something that can be coached
These are
out.
things you can clean up,
You can
right?
improve. Yes, I
And
agree.
speaking of
He's
things
not a
we got to
bust.
clean up,
Not
right?
yet.
I think the just to put a mark on the Daboll thing, he's one of those OCs better than a head coach, right? Like you should just stay in OC. I don't think you wanted to do the hell head coach thing. I will get to his GM sabotaged him at every single point of the tenure, from the Daniel Jones contract to trading, letting Saquon walk for free, to trading away assets, to trading up to get offensive linemen that sucked. Like this GM was worse, in my opinion, of a job than Daboll could have ever did coaching by himself.
I
Just
agree.
Yeah, I
that
agree. Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
agree for sure.
even the stuff that came out after he got fired, where the GM is saying he was pissed that they even traded back up to get Dart. He didn't want to get Dart. So he didn't want to get Dart. He didn't want neighbors. He wanted like somebody like he wanted a Dunze. So he wanted a Dunze over neighbors. He didn't want Dart and wanted to trade back in for another guy. And like, yeah, it's just anyways. But speaking of things that can be coached out, you have this Giants roster. You have an improved ish D line, right? I think Burns and Abdul Carter will be there to stay. Kayvon, nice to see you. You'll be in a different uniform next year. You have a defense that needs help. You have an offensive line that needs help. You got Neighbors, Scatterboo, and Dart. It's not a bad starting opportunity. So, B, what is something that you think, or who is somebody that you think could be interesting as a fit for this New York Football Giants?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know who's available as a coach,
Okay.
but maybe they go the college route. I mean, I don't really watch college football either, but maybe they want like a young, fresh mind from college to, run
Yeah.
the organization. But I don't know who's available as a coach. If it was me, I'm getting John Gruden. But
I
I'm not
think
gonna
Cliff
say
will be.
So
I think
Cliff is not. I don't feel like he's a head coach. Like,
I'm gonna say one of the Chargers coordinators probably will be. I
yeah,
think Flores might be.
Yeah, I'll give you. All right, so I'll list out the top candidates right now that people are considering. And just without
Whoever
reaction, these are just the
Steichens OC,
names.
not to interrupt you, but Steichens OC, he might get a call. I don't know. I don't know if they're
We'll
looking at
see
it.
how that shakes out. Right now,
Sure.
I'm looking at a list, and your current candidates right at the top. Mike McCarthy, he sat out a year to be able to jump back into the cycle. Cliff Kingsbury, Jesse Minter, who's the DC right now for the Chargers. Brian Flores, Jeff Halfley, who's the DC for the Green Bay Packers. Bobby Slovic, who's the
Yep.
Texans offensive coordinator, more for his play design versus his actual like
Mhm.
development of a player. So he's one of those, just like the Bills OC Joe Brady. He's
Yep.
another guy that's like a play design guy. But a lot of these are first year head coaches outside of obviously Flores, Kingsbury, and Mike McCarthy. Now,
Hey, I hate to say it, but you got to throw in Philly's offensive coordinator. I mean, look, at this point, we've lost one every single year. So you just got to throw him in there. I don't think anybody's going to hire him, but you got to throw him in there.
nobody's
It just
hiring
is.
Kevin
I
Steele.
mean, you've only lost one, the head coach, right? The other one just flat out got fired.
Two.
But
Two.
two,
Steichen and Kellen. Steichen and Kellen.
yeah.
Brian
So
Johnson. Brian Johnson didn't come close to a head coaching job, but I think he's currently an assistant head coach. But I get what you're saying.
they
Yeah,
give him the title, yeah. So same thing in Tampa. Tampa's had two straight back-to-back OCs become head coaches, and Liam Cohen in Jacksonville
that's
and
true.
Dave Canales in Carolina.
That's true.
And now
Yep.
they have Grizz, who's
He's not going
yeah.
anywhere. And
But
that's
he's
because of
young. He's
him.
young. He's younger.
Well,
He's not, and they all were young, but he's a first-time
well,
play caller.
I'm saying it's not because of him. It's because of injuries. Like your offense.
That's kind of because of him too. Like I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
It's just from watching Tampa. It's this year has been more predictable. You can tell Bowles has a bigger influence in the room where Liam Cohen kind of told him, "You stick to defense, I stick to offense," and it shows. But but no, injuries definitely play a part of it. But I'm not even intrigued at the play design that he does for the most part. A lot of players end up in the same spots, makes it easy for defenses to cover us. The runs aren't creative. Everybody's just running into the back of the butt of the center. And yeah, I'm not a fan so much. But I said all that to say that I think in New York, the rumor has been that they are heavily scouting the AFC North coaches because there are going to be a vacancy in the AFC North.
Yes.
Some are predicting multiple, whether it is Harbaugh, Tomlin, the Bengals
Can I say
coach
something?
Brian something,
I
one
think
second,
it's
or Stefanski.
Tomlin.
If I'm gonna be real, it won't happen. But all four gotta go. All
Absolutely.
four. Yeah, all
Zach
four gotta
Taylor.
go.
That
It
I
won't
keep wanting to
happen.
call him Brian, but since he's coach, his name is Zach Taylor.
Zach should no. Stefanski should be first. Zach should
Oh,
be second.
Harbaugh to be first. Get him out of here.
So I get that, but no, Stefanski should be first,
I,
and it's
I
because
I think we
for
all
me,
come to the agreement, which is all four of them should be
yeah,
worried. I'll just
correct.
put it that
I
way
agree. I agree.
because
Eh, The only,
between
but
Tomlin and Harbaugh, it's just tenure. Your message gets stale. It's the same
yeah,
thing over and over again, which owners love because that keeps making them money and they love
correct.
consistency. But
The
after a while, your players kind of stop listening to you and you lose the locker room. So there's that.
Tomlin. That's
Cincy,
the bad part. But
no, his players love him. But
hear me
now,
out. Between
Like a
right,
personnel with the Steelers.
well, between the Ravens and the Steelers, right? One one of their coaches is going to be saved by whoever makes the playoffs, and then between the two of them, I feel like Tomlin has more job security only because he don't have a losing season. I had to think about it because I was like,
I was
I don't
like,
know.
dramatic
But
pause.
Harbaugh,
bro, pack
his job
Harbaugh.
security, he has job security too. But like the issue is that, like you said, B, on Sunday, he is just afraid of fourth downs. He's afraid. He refuses.
He's not
So
physical.
it takes Lamar to be like, yo, I'm staying on the field. Otherwise, he will punt, kick every single time. On fourth down, it doesn't matter to him. And that's to me, that's a sign of not a bad coach, but like
A
I
different
don't
a
league.
even
scared
think,
coach.
not to speak out of turn too. I don't think Harbaugh.
Mhm.
I don't think he's even involved. I think Harbaugh is one of those coaches
He's
where
not
he
monitoring.
rather be situational specialist. I'm calling timeouts, I'm doing challenges, and I'm talking to my coordinators, but he trusts his coordinators to handle 99% of the game. So he's looking at
Yeah, he's
Monken
not
in the press box, right? And Monken's an old school air raid guy, so he's going to play traditional football. He's not going to go for it on fourth downs. He's more conservative. Um, and Harbaugh's even background is what, secondary coach? Like he's not necessarily
Special
an
things.
offensive
his
guy.
special team.
Special
Special
things.
teams. I mean, I know he coached corners somewhere.
Nah. At least if
Probably
he did,
I'm pretty sure
in Philly,
he
he was
coached
special
corners
teams.
somewhere, but then
He
special teams is where he made his butter in the
he
NFL.
might have been our DB coach, maybe, but I don't think so. I think he was special teams from
He was
jump.
probably, if I remember correctly, he was dual titled, where he was like how people have
Maybe.
that assistant
Sure.
head coach title, where it's like you're this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to say he was. Oh man, because Philly had it. I don't think it was Philly. I think it was
Everybody.
before then. I think it was even before then. I think it was when he was on Gruden's staff at some point. Anyways, but yeah, I just think the AFC North. Hey, you guys need to visit Lowe's, see what the coupon is on moving boxes. I just think that this is a division that may end up needing a little bit of help soon. My best bet is I think since he's done with Zach Taylor, I think that'll be the scapegoat just because, and I think they're going to want me personally. I'm segueing into like who I think is on the hot seat and who I think can replace them, right? Just to get off of the Giants for a second. But I think that Zach Taylor in Cincy is done. I don't even like outside of some heroic AFC championship berth, which isn't happening. I think he's done. And I think they're going Brian Flores to bring somebody in on the defensive side to fix the defense. And they're just going to let Burrow do some Aaron Rodgers shit where it's like, you're running the offense for real. We'll have an OC here in name only, kind of, sort of. But like, it's your show. And we're just going to get a defensive guy to fix the defensive side of the ball and go from there. So
I
that's who
know
I like.
Flores is blackmailed too, so he might not get a job again.
That is
I was
also a
going to say,
possibility. That case is still open, by the way.
I don't want Flores to take that job if it was offered because I think 100% as to what B just said, he'd be the scapegoat and be fired within a year because they know. This is what I meant to make this statement, but I'm gonna make it now. As long as Joe Burrow is in Cincinnati, he will never see another Super Bowl. He will never play in another Super Bowl again. So if he decides, since he's where I'm gonna be for the rest of my career, he will never play in another Super Bowl. I'm just telling y'all, this is true. And it's not him, it's the team, it's the organization.
And that's why
Like
this
you
next
can
coach is
hire
important. The
you
next
can
coach is
hire that
important. They got to
defensive
figure
coordinator.
that out.
You had a good defensive coordinator, then you fired him
Well, they
because
fired him because of obvious reasons.
their GM is some booty
It
and
is what
doesn't want to get any good players. And then when you did draft a player that the defensive coordinator relied on, and what's his face, Jesse Bates, you said, I'm not signing him and let him walk. Now your secondary is total garbage, along with all the rest of your garbage picks. Like, and that's the problem with Cincy. That man has been GM since I think '98. He ain't going. So, like I said, Joe, he will not win. He will not even play in another Super Bowl if he is with Cincinnati. He won't even make the AFC Championship game.
I think this
I don't
next
think that.
season is going to be very pivotal for them. Just to do it. Now, I went out of turn, obviously, and said mine. I wanted to give you guys the rundown of the current coaches on the hot seat, and then B, I'll go to you for who you think would be a good one, right? So we already know there's two vacancies: Tennessee, New York Giants. I am just looking at a Fox Sports article. This is not my personal opinion. This is just who they think are the coaches on the hot seat and their ranking. I'm just list the names. If any of these jump out at you, cool. If you have somebody off the list, also cool. So number one, Mike McDaniel. Number two for Miami. Number two, Jonathan Gannon for Arizona Cardinals. Number three, Kevin Stefanski for the Browns. Number four, Zach Taylor, Cincinnati. Number five, Raheem Morris, Atlanta Falcons. Number six, one and done, Aaron Glenn. Seven, Tomlin. Those are the top seven that Fox Sports thinks are on the hot seat rankings. As we know, typically there's about 5 to 7 jobs open every year. We already got two open, so I'm looking at probably 4 to 5 from this list that might get canned, and maybe a surprise there. B, any team that you think A should clean house or should just get a new coach, and if they do, who would you like to see there?
John Harbaugh.
Is this any way, shape, or form a Derrick Henry slight?
You damn right.
Oh man, way to bring it back to
Nah,
fantasy.
seriously, he does need to go though. But who was the other? Mike McDaniel's. I just
Yeah.
think he needs a fresh start somewhere. I don't think he's a head coach worthy. Well, not worthy, but I don't think he's a leader of men, quote
Yep.
unquote. So
Hmm.
I think he could be an offensive coordinator somewhere. So maybe go back to Shanahan or something. Who knows? But I think he'll be gone. And who was the other quarterback? Not quarterback. Black coach. You said that's not good.
Raheem Morris for Atlanta.
Yeah, he might get canned because he's black.
I heard that Atlanta is failing expectations this year, but they're kind of like doing that weird. We're in it, we're out of it. We're a serious team, we're an unserious team. So,
He might
but
get
that's a
one
sign of a
more
bad
chance
coach
if he does
sometimes.
get fired because he's black. When they're losing too, but he's black.
I get that. All right, not bad pick. So if Mike McDaniel goes, who would you like to see in Miami? Would you like to see, and it doesn't have to be a specific name. You could just say, look, I want them with an offensive guy, defensive guy. But if you have someone in
Uh,
particular, you want Bill Belichick to leave UNC and come back to Miami? Is that what?
that's a good deal. See, I'm always root for John Gruden. John
Hey,
Gruden.
man. I forgot which team he's currently assisting right now. He typically does like passing game help with other coaches. I think it's New
I don't know
Orleans,
who's out
actually.
there available. Maybe like somebody on the Rams staff because their offense is like destroying the league. So maybe like or somebody. Who knows? Maybe like a random person like that.
Okay. Not a bad thing. Gruden is currently listed as the favorite for the Stanford job. Um,
He's not college. He's
currently,
college football.
former NFL coach Frank Reich is serving as the Cardinals' interim coach as they fired their head coach. Stanford is eyeing John Gruden. He is also helping the Saints as the passing game coordinator off the books, and he has recently talked up Jackson Dart as a stud in this
Told
league.
you. If they start blackmailing him, he going to the Giants.
I mean, who's more trouble, Flores or Gruden? Like Gruden called the commission
Gruden,
anti.
like Gruden, because he's white and he dangerous. You know, white people,
Oh
before they
man,
they dangerous.
I'm telling you, this is
Flores has no
crazy.
chance. It doesn't matter what he does. Gruden can win and like come back.
That Vegas tenure.
They won't hire him though, because they all gonna be in cahoots. But he
That's
deserves it.
what I'm saying. That how he ended the Vegas tenure, even though the owner technically wanted to still keep him, but how they ended the Vegas tenure, I just don't know if it even if people are ready for the retread of all retreads in that regard. That's like hiring Matt Nagy again. Like I just feel like people are like, we've seen it, we're done with it. Stay a coordinator, maybe. But Therm, I'll spin it to you. Any of those names make sense? Any of those coaches you think should be fired before the other? And if they are, who would you like to see there?
Mm. I mean, so I'm really just hot on Zach Taylor. I want him gone. I don't
Yeah.
think he's a good coach. I think his offensive scheme is terrible. I think his play call is terrible, and I think his just overall decision making is bottom tier. And you said, who would I like to see him replaced with? I don't know. To be honest
I
with
want a
you,
defensive guy there, to be honest. I just feel
for
like
what?
since they did better
For
with
what?
Marvin Lewis, I
I
want
don't. I
somebody
don't.
to help them develop a defender.
I'm
Somewhere.
scared because because the NFL made it quite clear that if you're black, you must be a defensive coordinator. And why do I don't want another black coach to be a scapegoat in Cincinnati because their useless GM can't draft and can't make picks. Like he's been there since '98. Like I said before, he's made some picks. Yeah, Geno Atkins. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, here's my
Burns
thing.
Burton.
I don't see why.
Some
I
other
know. I
guy
know. Philly's
sucks.
kind of
Reggie
got their
Nelson.
player. Philly's kind of
Hmm?
got their coaches plucked
Reggie Nelson.
before, but
You said,
it's like
hmm
it, I see Philly as having a very stingy defense and a good front office. There's no Vic Fangio understudy that people are pining at. The secondary, like a
Yo, they
secondaries
tried.
coach.
They not good. They can't run the system. We had two of them. They can't run the system. Only the mob boss can do it.
Steichen is doing okay at Indy. I'll say that. Gannon,
second mostly. Gannon
Gannon
was
was,
easy. Gannon was okay, but then the Super
Oh,
Bowl.
but the
he had
thing
to
is, the
see
Cardinals'
that
defense
that
hasn't
coverage.
been terrible. But now we see Kyler may have been the problem the whole Gannon experience. So
No. I agree
Oh,
with that.
Gannon's
I
good, but
agree
he's
with that.
not
I think Gannon's a decent coach, a head coach, and Kyler sucks. Kyler does suck. It's the truth.
But I'm just saying the current day Eagles, right? Vic Fangio brought his own coaches, so you got a secondary that's rocking and rolling
Mm-hmm.
with good players, right? But like the development you're getting out of Reed Blankenship, for example, or players like that not necessarily were your quote unquote star players, but they're playing like star players, right? So it's like I think whomever is helping develop them should be in consideration. Like, why are we talking about the Chargers defensive coordinator like he's good? You know what I mean? Like, why is he the guy that we think
Because
is going to take over?
the,
It's weird. It's
it's
weird,
not
and I
that
don't like
weird.
it.
It's not that weird. The reality of it is, if I'm gonna hire you to be my defensive coordinator, it's not that I necessarily need you to have experience in defensive coordinator, but I need you to not be solely a positional coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I need
that's why
to
special team coaches get hired as head coaches because they can manage both sides a lot and they're good situationally, right? But
do a lot of special teams. Like besides Harbaugh and the dude in Detroit, who else? I can't think of anybody else. Everyone else offensive defense.
well, no,
And
they
that's
don't
not
have
even me.
particular specialties. Like Dan Campbell, you mentioned Detroit. He's worked on both sides of the football when it comes to coaching.
Yep.
Harbaugh was a specialist. A lot of
Yep.
our older coaches were specialists. Like very few were like dedicated. Like there's not a lot of Shanahans. We keep trying to hire them, the Shanahans, the McVays, and all that stuff, and they work right. But then people end up hiring your understudies, and then you have to reach back in that bag of tools. That's Harbaugh's problem, right? He's had to hire and fire so many of his friends that are OCs and DCs. He's ran out. That's why you have Zach Orr there and Monk in there, who had no ties to Harbaugh at all. And now his brother's back in the league, taking all the other people that he knew. So it's like, I, I think that pigeonholing, like again, Tampa fan, Todd Bowles, huge defensive guy. He's been in the offensive meetings. He's been influencing what the offense runs now that he's head coach. You know what I mean? Like he still has play callers, but he's influencing the game plan at that point. So that's why I'm just like, you kind of, as Brady said earlier, you need to be a leader of men, right? Um, I think Cincy should double down on getting a specialist that is like a defensive specialist versus a guy that can play both. Like you need expertise in one
It
area.
won't matter if you don't match talent with it.
No, for sure. That's why personally GMs are more of the problem than coaches. I think a lot of coaches get a bad rap because they're the easiest to fire and say they were the problem. But I think there's a lot of front office that have to shoulder some of this blame too. I'll end it with this: a name that we're seeing start to pop up again, Ghost of Christmas Past, Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels is now popping back up. He is the current OC of the Patriots. Drake May's ascension, et cetera, et cetera. You know how this game goes, right? Josh McDaniels is a name that's popping up. Haven't seen him linked to any particular teams, obviously, because he can write his own check at this point if a team wants him. But is any of the retreads enticing to us? We saw Green Bay's head coach now on the seat after yesterday's loss, right? So it's like, Are any of the retreads, the Robert Salahs, the guys that are actually performing better DCs? Robert Saleh, Cliff Kingsbury, Josh McDaniels, Mike McCarthy. Are any of these retreads someone that you would say you'd go with them over anybody else? And B, I'll start with you, and we'll end it with Therm.
For a head coaching job,
For a head coaching job, would you trust any
I'm
of the
not picking none of them.
retreads? Okay,
I'm not picking none of them.
that's both. You want fresh legs, fresh talent, fresh minds.
I want somebody that's a coach, not like a specialty type. I mean, I'm
Okay,
not saying that they can't, but I don't think. I don't know. I just don't see it with them.
I can agree with that. I like a lot of coaches that are proven developers. Like, and I think that's what Dan Campbell
Maybe
got.
Salah, but if I had to pick, I'd probably pick him. If I had to pick somebody,
Okay,
but personally, I wouldn't pick none of them as a head coach.
yeah, not mad at Salah after seeing the current Jets. I'm like the deck he had to work with, man. Like, I think Salah could end up being one of them
I feel like
retreads
he
that
can
can end
coach,
up being
man.
good.
Like he's a coach's type of coach.
I think players will follow him for sure too. Like you
Yeah.
said, that I think that's a guy that can be a leader of men. Therm, any retreads, whether I said them or didn't say them, right? If you just have somebody off the top of your head that you think could be a potential retread that you think should get some more respect on this open market.
Only one Flores because he didn't get a real chance in Miami. Like he had the season where they started like 1-7 and then went on like 9 game win streak, and
Yep.
that meant nothing. It meant nothing to ownership, meant nothing to the fans, meant nothing to the media, it meant nothing to anybody. So that'd be my guy who's like, yo, like y'all didn't give him a chance to head coach. He's cooking once again as a DC. I mean, y'all racist, so it doesn't fucking matter. Sorry,
I have a theory.
it doesn't matter.
Hear my theory real quick.
Mm.
And I think this applies to vacation cities. Again, as a fan of a Florida team, I don't think those fan bases, coaches, owners, well, not coaches, the owners, the fan base, the front office, I don't think they actually care enough about football to be good consistently when you live in vacation cities. When you live in the Floridas, when you live in Californias, all outside of the Rams one run and stuff, but most of the players they plucked from other franchises that, you know what I mean, they cared. But still, like living in vacation cities, it's so hard to actually pay attention, focus, and win. I feel like you like Green Bay should have no excuse for like not winning because there's nothing else to do. Like you should just be good at football here, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like a grit to it almost. Like when you're in like think Jacksonville, Tampa, and Miami, like all three of those teams have historically been bad most of our lives, right?
Mhm.
Like just period. Vacation cities. The Chargers, they've been bad a lot of my life. They were good, of course, with the LT years. They've been bad a lot of my life. The Vegas, before Vegas moved to Vegas, right? Oakland, terrible place. Vegas still terrible. Like the Rams are maybe the only like vacation city that's good. New York
Well,
is
that's because it was
trash
St.
outside of
Louis.
the two Eli
So
Mannings.
it's the same organization. It just changed the name. Well, it changed the state.
And they went to a worse destination. There was nothing to do in Oakland as like if I'm in California, Oakland's the last place I probably want to be in. But now I'm going to Vegas, even more distractions for an already distracted team. Like I just feel like you really gotta love it to be a top player or a top team and be in vacation cities. Like it's just not meant for football. It's meant for basketball. Basketball is cool, but like for football, you need snow, you need character building, you need Philly environment where like this is all they got. It's just fandom. You need Pittsburgh and stuff like that, where it's like there's nothing to do for miles. We're just going to go play football.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't believe that.
so
I
I
don't.
like Flores, but I like if he got a shot in Ohio, Cincinnati, or something like that. Like
I wouldn't.
I want you to go somewhere where there's nothing to do but football.
I
Like,
would hate for him to go to Cincinnati.
I mean, it could be anything. I like the pieces in Arizona on defense if you wanted to go there and develop some, but you got to find a quarterback. I don't think any of these coaches want to go somewhere that don't have a guy already
I mean,
as a
Arizona's about to
retread.
not have a guy, so that's nothing. They're getting rid of Kyler Murray. No reason.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was saying I would if I'm on the open market. All these teams that I named are open, right? Atlanta, Miami, Arizona, Cleveland, Cincy, the Jets, Pittsburgh. Cincy's the one that I probably would go to because I just got to fix the defense. Like, and obviously Joe Burrow, I got to buy him some some med kits every
I
now and again.
mean, you can't say just if it's 2 years. You know what I mean? It's not just. It's like, yeah, do what you got to fucking do. But you pick bad players, so your defense won't get fixed.
No,
Your
I mean,
GM
if
sucks.
you're going to take the head coach job, it would be like a Mike McCarthy situation where you're like, I have to have some input on what the final 53 is going to look like.
They'll never go for that. They kept their GM
They
for
did it with
30
Marv.
years.
They did it
Of,
with Marv. I'll say that.
yeah, they kept their GM for 30 years, even though he's literally never reached a Super Bowl. The only AFC Championship game came because of Joe Burrow, not because of anything the GM did. And you kept him because he's a cheap, poor piece of crap. That's why Cincy kept him.
Well, that's
So
the owner.
Cincy will
That's
not.
the owner doing that. But like I
That's the
said,
team.
no,
It's
I
the
get that.
team.
But when
It's the owner.
notice
It's the owner.
when Marvin had control of that team,
Uh,
he
what
was
did they
picking the
do?
players.
What did they do financially? Nothing.
They paid
Nothing.
Dalton, they paid AJ Green, they paid
So
Atkins, they paid a
let,
lot of
let's
people, and
let's talk about
they
that.
were a
It
regular
was
season.
easier to pay Dalton than Carson Palmer because you knew Dalton sucked. So hey, I don't have to pay you top dollar because you suck.
But
I'll pay
they
to
still paid
Chad
him.
Johnson. I'll pay some to TJ, and I'll give a little to Gino. How many AFC Championship games did that team see?
None.
How many divisional rounds did that team see?
I wouldn't know off the top of my head. I know they
To be
were
honest,
regular
I think
season
it's none
warriors.
because Andy Dalton kept getting kicked out in the first round because he didn't belong.
No,
Because
I
the
get
team
that.
didn't belong.
I get that. But what I'm
So,
saying is when you give a coach roster control, you get positive regular season wins, which is what they did. You didn't win it when the chips mattered, but you got positive for a Cincinnati team that's not used to nothing. But that's our show this week, guys. We love you.
wait,
We appreciate
one
you.
thing to say. One thing to
And
say,
we will
y'all.
see you
One
next
thing.
week.
Wait. One
Therm,
thing. I
I can see you. I'm going to kick it to you, sir, to
have
end it.
to apologize to the watchers. Just real quick, this is actually fantasy. I have to apologize, y'all. I told y'all go get Aaron Rodgers. I told y'all go get the Jacksonville tight end. The Jacksonville tight end might as well not exist. Aaron Rodgers looks as old as he could possibly be. So
And
I'm
don't forget,
sorry. I'm
and don't forget
sorry.
Justin Fields.
But my quarterback situation has been bleak. I had Sam Darnold and Jordan Love last week. 5 points, 7 points. That's all I got. We can kick it out. Go ahead, Pope.
We'll see y'all next week. Appreciate y'all for hanging with the Goodfellas.
This guy, Chris, man.